Hi guys, I'm here at the PokerStars EPT in London. Earlier when I caught up with Daniel Negreanu. So we're here with Daniel. How are you, Daniel?
I'm doing great.
Enjoying the battle so far? I see that you guys are 2-0 up.
Well, let me ask you a question. If you were 2-0 up, how would you feel? Yeah, no, I'm excited about it. Yeah, for sure. I want to sweep them.
Now, we're just before your match with Gus, but we'll come back to that in a little bit. I've got a few other questions I want to go through with you first. People really see you as an ambassador for the whole sport of poker, if we can call it a sport, and I think we probably should at this point. When you've been doing this, is there anything you think that you might have got wrong? That you think you've come out with and said that may not be quite right? Because with your gravitas, the weight that your words have, do you think you've ever possibly made a mistake in that regard?
Well, to be honest with you, my record is pretty darn good. There was one interview I did at one point where I didn't specify exactly what I meant. When I was talking about, there was a point where I was talking about, people, the full tilt people wouldn't get their money back. Well, I should have been more specific and say that not from Tapi, because I was very confident that deal was not going to happen based on the sources that I was speaking to. And if it had, he was just the wrong guy. This guy was convicted of fixing soccer games. So the whole concept of it was like, what we're talking to who exactly? So I would have worded it more carefully and said, you're not getting your money from this deal. But who knew that the savior was going to come to the rescue in PokerStars?
Yeah, that was an amazing deal. I have to be honest, I batted my eyelids about 4 or 5 times and I read the news and went, nah, that can't be right. But thankfully for a lot of people, it is.
Well, yeah, I truly believe that it was the only way. Despite what Howard Lederer believes that, the Tapi deal would have happened or another deal, I don't see anybody else that had the know-how to revive the company like PokerStars.
You're quite famous for the things you have said. Things like the EPL, the Epic Poker League's ethics committee. Given your stance on that, what do you think about what the GPI have just done recently about the Partouche alleged cheating scandal?
Yeah, well, you know what? This is an interesting one, and actually, I really like Alex Dreyfus. He actually emailed me and asked my opinion on whether or not he should do that, and I thought it was actually good, because this is a ranking system that they have the right to rank in such a way that if they have concrete evidence, and my bone of contention with him was simply this: it's like, if this is clear and obvious and provable, not based on circumstantial evidence, but based on clear evidence, then yes, I totally agree with it. If it's based on hearsay or what people think may be happening that's not fair. But in this case, it seems pretty clear that the people that were disbanded from the GPI were guilty as charged.
Did you see the video?
I haven't, but I've seen it. I've heard enough about it that it's pretty
from what I've seen, it is pretty clear. Taking a bit of a different tact, with some of the changes in the US law at the moment, with Nevada, Delaware, New Jersey all signing online gaming legislation quite recently, as someone who lives in Nevada for a large portion of your time, where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years?
Well, I definitely think regulation countrywide is inevitable. The question is how long. And what it looks like is happening in the U.S. is similar to kind of what's happening in Europe, in that, state by state versus country by country are regulating on their own. What I think they'll realize after a couple of years, and it'll be messy for a bit, is that that's not the way poker sites work. You need critical mass. So you'll see the states, getting on board and maybe start with 3 or 4 and then it becomes more, because they're going to notice that it's not really sustainable unless you actually use critical mass from other states or other countries.
Yeah, so you see it more of a federal solution than a state-by-state solution. Do you see that, for example, the federal solution would open up to the rest of the world player pools as well, or do you think they're going to stay insular?
You would hope so. Obviously, you'd hope that things progress at such a rate that happens. If not, like I said, what you may see potentially, it might not even have to get to the federal level if you get enough states on board. If you get the key states like California, New York, and the like, the big states, that if you had 15 or 20 of the key states, that would be probably good enough for most people. But again, I really think it's important to keep the game global and for them to expand past that and find ways to work within a global market.
Coming off that, the current state of the casino market in the States, do you think they're behind the curve on the online side? Both in their ethos and also the technology that they're using?
Well, certainly you'd have to say that they're behind in terms of technology because of the industry leader, PokerStars, which I obviously represent, and I'm biased, but it's just true. They're way far ahead because they have so many years of experience. And obviously, PokerStars is very well-structured company, and they're not going to look at the U.S. and be like, yeah, you guys can have it. They're going to want to, be in the market as well, it seems like.
Well, coming off that, I mean, have you heard the AGA, the American Gaming Association's recent tact with the New Jersey thing? I mean, have you got any comments you want to make on that? Or?
Well, it's one of those things at this point where there's going to be a lot of people wanting this, and there's other people that are going to be wanting this, and in the end, when the dust clears, it'll be whatever the politicians decide. Mm-hmm. And I'm not a politician, and I don't have any influence either way, so my opinions are all speculation. I hope to see a level playing field for all, and I think that U.S. customers really appreciated not only playing on PokerStars, but what PokerStars did to sort of save online poker's reputation to some degree.
So as we were talking about earlier, we've got the heads-up battles today between Stars and Full Tilt. Now, Stars are standing at 2-0 up, which obviously probably makes you feel very good. Your picks have come through against some quite tough opposition. Coming back to it, how did it all start? How do you think the original tweet by Gus really started? Was it a needle at you? Was it?
Well, yeah. I mean, really, it's a combination of both. You know, Gus and I are friends, and you know, so we've been talking about doing something like this for a long time. We thought that, you know, it'd be fun to hash it out on Twitter. So he started with his needle. I threw back in a needle of my own, and then it sort of snowballed. And then I talked to people at PokerStars to see if something could happen along these lines. And something like I said, I've been wanting to do for a very long time. So we thought it'd be fun and good for poker, and you know, to do it here live at EPT London, it's the perfect place.
It has been fun to watch so far. I mean, why did you pick Elkie and Ike? I mean, there were obviously a large number of PokerStar pros. I mean, what do you think gave those two the edge to?
Well, I'll tell you how it was done. Originally, I went to Twitter and sort of asked people who they thought I should pick, and I narrowed it down to 5 players. Obviously, Elkie, Ike, Vanessa Selps, Jason Mercier, and Eugene Kachaloff. So then what I did, and this was a great experience of team bonding, I had the 5 of them all pick. They couldn't pick themselves, and one of them picked 2 players and ranked them 1 and 2. And then there was a point system. First place rank was 2 points and then 1 point. So Ike got the most votes. Everybody voted for him either first or second. And then then closely in second place was Elkie. And you know, obviously it looks like a great pick now that Elkie's beaten Victor Blom. But you know, I couldn't have gone wrong. I really had a great stable of people that could all be competitive at this level.
I mean, I'm a little bit surprised Jake Cody wasn't in the mix. He was
on the cusp. Yeah.
He's a World Series champion.
Yeah, you know, Jake Cody was so new to the team, and it was kind of like, you know, we're thinking about hierarchy, some seniority. And he got a couple votes from Twitter, but really, there was 5 people who got repeated over and over, and I wanted to make sure they got a chance to all play.
Fair enough. I mean, coming out of the poker bit, I mean, you announced this through your rants, your video blogs. I mean, what was the idea behind those? I mean, why they are kind of mandatory viewing for us in the poker world. I mean, why did you start producing those?
Well, the first, you know, actually, I got an iPhone, I switched, and it was like, oh my gosh, it's so easy. You just take a little video and you press send, and then I started to use iMovie, and I thought it was really fun. And at the same time, I obviously have a lot to say. I'm a very opinionated guy, and I thought it would be a great venue to sort of connect with the poker audience and create kind of like a newsy type show where I could also, you know, here we're doing an interview now. You're editing this. I don't know how it's going to end up. I did it all by myself, so I can make it look however I want to. And I just really liked the creative outlet. And I tried a bunch of things. Some things worked. Some things were like, I tried a green screen. I'm like, never again. That was too much. Oh, what a hassle that was. But now at this point, the videos I'm going to shoot are basically just about the content and less about the pomp and circumstance.
Well, I mean, you've recently been doing some charity work through your notoriety, let's call it, your fame. Have you got anything, or how's that panned out? Did you meet your targets? I can't remember exactly who it was, I have to be honest.
Mm-hmm. Well, it was actually for the St. Jude's Children's Hospital, which is one of the most reputable organizations in the United States. It's for cancer patients. They never turn a child away regardless of how gloomy the outcome looks. And our goal was to raise $100,000 as a team. The poker community itself raised about $177,000, and as a team, the team that I was raising money with, we raised $280,000 for the kids at St. Jude's. So that's going to make a very, very big difference in those kids' lives.
I agree; it's absolutely massive. I think your what you give back is quite an interesting. Take away from the normal poker player solidification. I mean, is that something you do deliberately? Is it something that you feel you have to give back to the community?
Well, honestly, yeah. I mean, to some degree, I don't feel like anyone needs to, but I always felt like I was the perfect person to do that, or maybe one of the people that was both willing to do it and could. And it's a role I enjoy. It's something I feel is necessary because I love this game and I want to see it flourish, and I have have a lot of ideas to see, to make that happen. So if I didn't, I feel like I'd be cheating the poker community. So I don't want to do that.
Well, I'm getting eyes from people. You need to go and play some.
Oh, we got to play.
So good luck with that, Daniel. Nice to meet you, and hope to see you at future EPTs.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you very much.
You got it.